Thanks, Charles.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is officially enforcing its public charge rule on immigration. Immigrants will now have to meet certain income-based requirements for green cards and some visas. Some now say this will actually hurt the U.S. economy, while others say it keeps tax dollars in more deserving hands. On this topic, I'd like to bring in Border Commerce and Security Council President Nelson Balido in studio. Nelson, great seeing you.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Very controversial, although it's interesting because a lot of liberal nations have similar tests, if you will, for the people who go into their countries. You want to make sure they're not necessarily economic burden. By the same token, we have an extreme need for a lot of workers that some industries say we don't have here.
That's currently right. So this is a 100-year-old rule that was updated, and it really, and if you think about it, you know, I have a Cuban background. And when Cubans came to the United States through a visa lottery system, normally a family member had to take charge, had to say, hey, this person that's coming to this country is not going to be a public charge, and had to have some liquidity. So I'm saying, why not do the same thing? I think this doesn't stop anybody from coming to this country. In fact, I think encourages people to apply and really get their story straight to ensure that they are not a public charge to all of us that pay taxes, and this has been certainly a controversial issue for many years, but it doesn't harm us.
All right, another real controversial issue: the Border Patrol or ICE, rather, stopping buses, the Trailways, Greyhound buses. Right. Some are saying, some of these buses have been stopped, millions of miles away from borders. In other words, it's a form of harassment, and now the bus companies are saying they won't allow it anymore. Well,
you have a Border Patrol checkpoint that at the actual border. Then you even have them at airports on the border. So now you even have it up to 100 miles away from every border checkpoint that comes into the United States. So every bus, conveyance, privately owned vehicle is subject to search and questioning. This doesn't change anything. This doesn't change any of the operations of the Border Patrol or any otherwise.
Right.
It may have what we don't want is certainly for the cartels to get in on this thing and start shipping people over the border.
Which of course we know has been a means of everything. We got to leave it there because of the market, Nelson. It's great seeing you. Well, obviously these topics aren't going away.
No, they're not.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Folks, more on these markets when we come back.